So this is kind of a follow-up to a video I did a couple weeks ago talking about the future of the Monsterverse. And yes, it does look like the Monsterverse is not going anywhere for a while because of how well Godzilla vs. Kong did. However, there's one thing when I did my video I didn't take into account. And that thing I didn't take into account was that basically I think we had all forgotten, I especially had forgotten, that what had happened was that the rights for Legendary's Godzilla, the deal they had with Toho ended at 2020. It's 2021, and that movie got postponed, remember? So, the rights that Legendary had to use Godzilla reverted back to Toho. And you may make the argument that, what about, they could just go back to Toho and renegotiate stuff. There's also that, but remember, Toho is notorious for being, when they get money, they tend to up the ante. They tend to up the ante, especially, because for those who don't know, Toho's movie studio is not the same as it used to be. I think everyone goes, oh, it does this and that, but no. The Toho we know from the Showa and Heisei and up to the Millennium period is not the same Toho as it was. It's not the filmmaking powerhouse. It's still strong, but it's not the force of nature it used to be. And they have talked about making their own they're making their own Godzilla films again, and they kind of need, they did do Shin and the anime trilogy, and doing Singular Point now. But like I said, Toho has mentioned that they will be doing new Godzilla films and other kaiju films in the coming years, as a reborn cinematic universe over at Toho to give them more new life. So, that leaves Toho in a bit of a... not Toho, but Legendary in a bit of a bind. Because, they do know that when they see money when they know money when they see it, and know success with money when they see it. So, Toho is not going to be an idiot, as a business, business dealings are going to go like, Toho might want more money, or they may go, you're on your own, pal, we're making our own movies. We don't got to share the rights if you don't have it. And while, yes, there is the chance, I'm not ruling out, and I didn't rule this out prior, that, yes, they could make another, deal to share the rights, and we could have two Godzilla Godzilla universes running coincide of each other. But there's also the chance that talks do break down, negotiations do break down. And to be fair, they could easily go the route of, well, we'll just continue without Godzilla because we have the rights to Kong. Warner Brothers solely owns Kong. Legendary and Legendary Warner Brothers, they have the rights to Kong. So they could keep doing the Monsterverse with new and original monsters with Kong leading the charge. There's the possibility of that. But the other thing I would like to bring up, and I brought this up before, is that there could be someone who you could theoretically use to replace Godzilla if you couldn't get the rights back to do these films. And that monster is Gamera. Now, Gamera has had an interesting movie era, from a less than stellar Showa era to a phenomenal Heisei trilogy, which, I will go on record as saying that the Gamera Heisei trilogy is some of the best kaiju stuff out there. Like, if I would put it on the same pedestal as 54 Gojira. That's how high I place the Gamera Heisei trilogy. It's the Dark Knight trilogy of kaiju movies. The big thing is that after Dai went under, Katakawa got the film rights, and they only produced really only one movie, Gamera the Brave, which, it's not bad, but, it's really hard to come off the heels of what was the Gamera Heisei trilogy. So, in this, I'm wondering, because Katakawa doesn't seem to care about Gamera. And Katakawa, you may be saying, oh, Katakawa's failing. No, they are not. they are actually doing well. In fact, there's an argument, which I'm not going to go into, there's an argument that you could say that Kadokawa is doing better than Toho right now in Japan, film industry-wise. But we're not going to... That's a whole other hornet's nest that I have no intention of stirring this time around. But Kadokawa is no idiot. You know, the people at Kadokawa are no idiots. And I'm pretty sure Legendary has been hearing all the talk on the internet of, like, bring Gamera to the Monsterverse. So, what if they couldn't get... Now, keep in mind, they couldn't get the rights back from Toho. Let's put out this hypothetical situation where, in this hypothetical moment, Godzilla isn't back at Legendary. Toho says, no, they're either asking too much, or they're just like, no, we're just going to do our own movies and the anime series, and we're just going to go have fun, Legendary. It was a fun few years, but the talks are over. Now, Legendary can do one of two things. One, and this is the logical one, is like, fine, we don't need to share rights anymore and share the money. We'll keep all the money and just do a Kong-centric Monsterverse with new monsters. Or two, they'll be like, okay, Toho don't want to play, we'll go to Kadokawa. And Kadokawa, devil's advocate, Kadokawa could easily say no as well. Because like I said, Kadokawa Studios actually, like, again, the argument could be made that Kadokawa is doing better than Toho, and they could be like, no, we don't need your help. We're not going to use Gamera, but, like, we keep putting out the DVDs, but, like, yeah, we don't need you. Bye. Now, there could happen, or Kadokawa could see how well the Monsterverse did, and then be like, yeah, we ain't using him. Yeah, so Kadokawa, I would imagine, would be like, hold up. You're saying that you want to use a monster that we haven't used in years, since 2004, or since, like, 2005, and you want to make a movie off of him, and we get the money? We get a shared amount of that royalty? Where do we sign? There's a chance that could happen, too. And not only... The other thing is that what I've learned... now, this may have changed, but, like, when you sign Gamera, it's not like with Godzilla where you have to get the rights, like, from each character. Like, each character is trademarked separately, so it's a little more difficult for the monsters to... for you to use the monsters. It's not like the same with Gamera, where when you get Gamera, you get all the monsters along with him. You get Jiger, you get Gauss, you get Iris, Legion, all of these monsters. And yeah, that's the other thing, is that I would love to see a Legendary version of, like, Gauss or Iris, or especially Legion. I'd really love to see, like, a Legendary version of Legion. I would also really like to see what they could do with Barugon. Could you imagine Legendary version of Barugon? Like, just think on that for a second. Or Guiron. Like, how would you do, like, some of the weird-ass monsters in here? Gauss is easy. Like, Gauss would be the easiest out of all the monsters. But, like, fucking Barugon and the others, or Viras, yeah, that's a little more harder to put together. But that's the thing, is that Gamera could easily, like, you could have Gamera show up. And the other thing is, it wouldn't be that hard to stick Gamera in here. We already know that an ancient civilization worshipped the Titans as gods, so you could just say that Gamera was another god that they worshipped. Again, that's not far from Gamera's Heisei origin, where he was created and worshipped in Atlantis. So that wouldn't be far off. You'd be basically making a little callback to the Heisei era for Gamera. And Gamera, you could make Gamera just as powerful as the legendary Godzilla. And yeah, Gamera versus Kong, I'd be down for that. Yeah. And Gamera, if there's any monster that could hold a crown to Godzilla, there's that. Now, the other thing they could do The other thing they could do is like, and this is the best case scenario, but I know this will never happen because I know Toho and Katakawa will not agree to any of this. But yeah, wouldn't it be great if like Toho and Katakawa agreed to let them both use Gamera and Godzilla? But then again, to be fair, Katakawa did, before they tried Gamera the Brave, they did, with Katakawa, the second they got the rights to Gamera from Dai, they went straight to Toho and went, hey, can we do Gamera versus Godzilla? And Toho said, nah. They were like, nah, no way, dude, fuck it. And who knows, maybe Katakawa will be like, oh, we can do this and make money and work with Toho? Cool. But Toho's the one I'm more worried about, well, because they have a real grudge against anyone like a rival studio. So Toho, I imagine, Katakawa would be like, oh, cool, we can do this, yeah, what do you say, Toho? Toho, where you go? Why are you leaving the deck? Come on, man! And scene. Oh, Lord. Anyway. So, again, there's so many scenarios that you could do, but I'm just thinking of a scenario, and I'm speaking as a major Godzilla fan more than I am a Gamera fan. I'm just saying, like, if you couldn't get you couldn't make Toho budge on, you know, renegotiating the license, because that's probably what's the big holdup right now. Because you have to understand that before the pandemic hit, the Monsterverse was already being written off. Like, the Godzilla vs. Kong was going to be the final movie. It was going to be the final movie. But after how well it's been doing in this pandemic, and how it's essentially been saving movie theaters, yeah, now there's an actual call, and Toho, excuse me, not Toho, but Legendary and Warner Brothers are like, oh shit, this actually was a good thing. What do we do? We gotta call Toho back. But Toho might go, oh, now you suddenly care about this title, huh? More money. Yeah, so it all comes down to money, people. It all comes down to money. Anyway, so you guys tell me in the comments below. If Toho doesn't agree to signing the license, do you think, what do you think Legendary should do post Godzilla vs. Kong for the Monsterverse? Do you think they should just do Kong movies from now on and create new monsters? That's actually the one I'd really like to see, is them just continue with Kong. If they can't get Godzilla back, just continue with Kong and make new monsters. I want new kaiju to fawn over. In fact, there's a whole plethora of monsters of giant monsters in America that you could bring to why do I keep trying to say Toho? But you could bring to Legendary and make them part of the Monsterverse right off the bat. The Rhodosaurus from 20,000 Leagues, the beast from 20,000 Fathoms. The Rhodosaurus, there you go. The thing that it fucking inspired Godzilla. And, yeah. The giant claw. Yeah, you can make something that derpy bird into a legitimate threat. As long as someone says it's as big as a battleship, I'm good. The ants from Them. There you go, there's another one. The Ymir from 20 million miles to Earth. I am, like, literally, there's even, like, a part of me that's like, yeah, you could either make new monsters, or you could just go to the 50s, era, and just take stuff. I guarantee you, Warner Brothers has a treasure trove of 50s era monster movies that they could just flip through and be like, okay, you're in, you're in, you're in, you're in, you're out, you're in, you're out, we'll come back to you, something like that. That's the thing, that's also a possibility, and actually one I would really like to see. Yeah. So there you go. So, but you guys tell me in the comments below, do you guys want Toho and Legendary to make a new deal, or do you think Legendary... Like, there's so many possibilities. Or do you want Gamera to be the new face alongside Kong, or do you want it to be solely Kong with new monsters, with a little bit of old monsters thrown in? There's so many ways you could do the Monsterverse now. But anyway, just comment below, let me know, and once again, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.